Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, as I like to call it, HIMARS. Please remember to like and subscribe. Now let's get right into it. Fact 1. Similar to the M270. When you take a look at the M142 HIMARS, you'll see that it bears a very similar resemblance to the M270 HIMARS. The M270 HIMARS is much larger, uses tracks, and carries roughly the same types of rockets. However, one big difference between the M142 and the M270 is that the M142 is much smaller, nimble, agile, and easier to transport or move about to various battlefield locations, or to go to a certain undisclosed location after firing their rockets. Another big difference is that the M270 has 2 pods of rockets, whereas the M142 only has 1 pod. Now this may seem like a disadvantage, but when in reality it's actually on purpose, because as I mentioned, the M142 was designed to be faster and nimble and more agile, and having 2 pods of rockets simply slows them down. Now let's get into the next fact. Fact 2. C-130 air transportable. Now the M142 is designed, again as I mentioned, to be really nimble, quickly transported to and from different locations, fire on the enemy, and leave quickly. The M270 can be transported by airplanes as well, but it is much more challenging, and because the M270 is so heavy, it'll take a lot more airplanes to transport the amount of number you need versus the M142, which is much lighter. In fact, this agility was actually one of the reasons why the M142 was derived from the M270, because lessons learned from the M270 was that it was just too heavy and hard to transport quickly to a location that really needs their firepower. The United States military specifically asked for a more agile rocket artillery system. Fact 3. 5 types of rockets. The M142 can carry 5 different types of rockets. 4 of those types of rockets is listed in this chart. These 4 are guided rockets, meaning that they have GPS units to guide them to the location desired. Whereas the 5th one, not listed, is an unguided dummy rocket used for training purposes. If you take a look, each type of rockets also can be armed differently. For example, the ATA CMS is only 1 round in the pod versus the GMLRS with 6 rounds. These different types of rockets serve different types of purposes, and they have different ranges. For example, the PRSM, the Precision Strike Missile, is the newest type of GPS-guided missiles that has a range up to 310 miles or 499 kilometers. Next up is the ATA CMS that we talked about. It has up to a range of 190 miles or 300 kilometers, and it's also GPS-guided. Next in the list, the GMLRS has various types. One of them is a ER or extended range GMLRS that has a range up to 93 miles or 150 kilometers. Now let's get into the next fact. Fact 4. Shoot and scoot. As we mentioned earlier in this video, the way these rocket artillery systems are designed is that they are used to quickly be placed to a strategic location or nearby an enemy, fire the rockets, and then leave right away, so that when the enemy gets hit by these rockets and they want to retaliate, the rocket systems are already gone from that location. So to really effectively use these rocket artillery systems, all you have to do is identify areas that's close enough for the missiles or rockets, quickly transport the M142 there, fire, and then quickly leave the location the same way you came. By doing so, when the rocket hits the enemy, and they want to retaliate because they saw the smoke trail, for example, or their radar that tracked it to the location of the firing. When they get back there, the M142 will have already been gone, and all they will find are tire tracks. This is the effective way of using these type of artillery rocket systems. Now let's get into the next and final fact. 500 plus units made. While the M142 HIMARS system is fairly new, having been in production since 2010, it is really derived from a battle-tested proven M270, which has been around since the 1980s. The M142 HIMARS has been proven so successful that multiple countries such as Singapore, Romania, all have purchased from Lockheed Martin, the sole manufacturer of these combat vehicles. These combat vehicles have over 2 million hours of operating hours, and as I mentioned, more than 500 units have been delivered, and more is on the way as countries have seen the usefulness and effectiveness of these rocket artillery systems and have committed to purchase more from Lockheed Martin. As time will tell, these rocket artillery systems will likely replace all types of field artillery systems, such as howitzers and other types of more cannon-like offensive weapons, which are unguided and harder to maneuver and stuck in one location once deployed. In the future, artillery systems are more likely to be similar to the M142, where they could be nimble, have guided missiles to make sure it hits the target with precision so that you don't incur unnecessary collateral damage. These type of HIMARS systems are going to be the future. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.